Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of our podcast where we will go deep into the world of technology and education. Today, we have Vaibhav Kulkarni, who is my co host, and also a true visionary with us, none other than Neel Maheshkumar Patel, the driving force behind Coding Gita. Neil and his team are on a mission to blur the lines between academic theory and practical industry skills by making students ready to not just learn to code, but to code to make the difference. Armed with the degree in computer science and years of valuable experience in tech mentorship, Neil has transferred the realm of full stack development, all while nurturing the next generation of tech maniacs. So buckle up and get ready to be inspired as we hear more from Neil himself about his journey. So Neil, over to you. We would like to know how's your journey. I know that you are from lovely professional university, so we would like to know about your college days also, and then we would obviously like to know how this Coding Gita concept started. And I really like the name of your company, Coding Gita. So I would like to know the story behind this also. That why this name. So over to you, Neil. Would like to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks, Prachi, for the warm introduction. I'll firstly start with where all this started. So, to be honest, the start of the company actually happened in where I graduated. So, everything is revolving around Jalandhar LPU, where this happened. I graduated from LPU, and I also, in past 1 year, I also got an opportunity to work multiple times in LPU, and that is where I took my industry experience and thought of including that into education. So the main goal of Coding Gita is right now there are many students who are going for B.Tech after 12th. And this is where I want to basically bridge a gap between industry and academia. How do we want to do it? We want to integrate work experience, basically internships, into our B.Tech degrees. Where students can actually not just learn theoretical knowledge, but they can actually learn to code and then apply that knowledge into real world learnings through companies internships. And in current phase, we are offering 4 year B.Tech degrees where students can learn in first year and second year, and from the right start of the fifth semester, they can start doing internships. So 2 years of learning and 4 semesters of internships. This helps to students to get them practical knowledge, and companies as well to get interns where they can spend more time in the training, and then they get converted to full time. So this was where what we are doing, and the name Coding Gita was, I think, this is where for my all the problems, there was one book where I used to take a lot of reference. That was Bhagavad Gita, and I thought for all the students who are having questions on coding, we might be the one solution where we can probably answer few of their questions. So that with that thought, we went out with Coding Gita name.
No, brilliant name. So I don't know. I think when I look at it, so it just feel complete. When you have a name, something coding and Gita, I feel like whatever you have a complete solution basically. Now moving slightly back to your journey and part where you get started, I wanted to know like why do you feel the necessity of building something like that? Because I think we were just discussing a few minutes back, and you said you actually started working as an intern in some companies in your second year, I guess. Is that the point where you thought of, or maybe later, but you realize from your journey that getting into some internships or help you excel in the career? Is that the thinking behind this, or what is the I would say necessity of this that you're trying to solve basically?
So the main necessity is 2 points where many of the computer science graduate after 4 years, many of them are not able to get jobs which pays good amount. We see numbers where students are getting 1 year package. We also see numbers in every college 30 LPA, 40 LPA, but that's not the reality for majority of the students. In my case, I, however, want to take the overall quality of our students little higher, and then best students are always going to go above. And with internship, the main goal is companies are ready to pay money if students are able to contribute from the right start of their career. Now, this is pretty much difficult after 4 years. If they go for internship, it becomes difficult for companies to again train them and then make them billable. But if they already have this learning in the college, students are highly likely to get higher amounts, and they will be more valuable for companies. So that was the main thought behind this.
Okay. So, Neel, I was going through your website, and I know that this course which you have built up, it is for 4 years program, right? CSE 4 years.
Yes.
So, how it's not like different from the normal CSE which is happening, because in education industry there is so much of competition already. So many colleges
Yeah.
are there where they are running these courses and students are enrolling. So, how exactly you stand different, that children or students should prefer coding Gita rather than them?
So I'll talk about the normal curriculum. So in normal curriculum, in first year you will have roughly 12 to 13 subjects in first year. Out of this 12 to 13 subject, depends from college to college, you are likely to get 1 to 3 subjects for coding. In majority of the colleges, it's mostly just C language. In few colleges, there is C, or additionally 2 or 3 subjects will be there. But remaining 7 to 8 subjects has nothing to do with computer science. They are basically more focused towards common engineering, which is good. In our case, we are really sure that students are in the program because they want to excel in computer engineering or full stack development or AI. So in the first year itself, out of these 13 subjects, 9 subjects are of only coding. So if I have to talk about the subjects, in the first semester itself, we focus on fundamentals. So the majority of the students are going to face issues in communication. So right from the first semester, we make sure our students can communicate really well. You would probably see many interns when they join in, they are not really able to communicate. It's not just verbal communication, it's written as well. So from first semester itself, written and verbal communication in where they can thrive in professional environment. This was the non-technical part. Remaining 8 subjects, so many students do training on full stack development after 4 years. I make sure right in the first semester, they learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node, Express, MongoDB. Now, this is month being covered in the first semester. This is the development part. They also need to, if you have to go in a product-based company, you also need good problem-solving skills. So, right from first semester, I firstly cover a programming language, and along with programming language, we also focus on problem-solving skills. So in first year itself, students solve something like 100 to 150 lead code level questions. So their 9 to 6, the timing is 9 to 6. Out of this 9 to 6, minimum 6 hours of coding. And because of this hands-on learning, they get much more ahead compared to any other students. And this was just first year. In the second year, we focus on AWS certifications. To summarize, cloud certifications along with advanced development. So once they know the basics of it, we move into advanced. And from third semester, they start doing internships. Sorry, from the third year. So starting from fifth, sixth, seven, eight. So when they graduate after 4 years, they have actual development experience of 2 years. And this is where companies are ready to spend more on them because they can work in a professional environment. They already have proven themselves, and each and every student is going to have the public profile on LinkedIn, on LeetCode, and on GitHub. And this is giving confidence to recruiters that they can probably hire them.
So what I understand, the major learning happens in the first year, and then from second year, you start making the students involved more in the internship or hackathon and all, right?
First year is major learning for full stack. Second year is going. So first year is I'm trying to cover more breadth. So it's not possible for us to cover everything in depth. So first year is more of a breadth. Now from second year, we start going in depth. So in first year, they are introduced to just MongoDB. Now MongoDB is NoSQL database. They don't know SQL yet. In third semester, we go in depth of SQL. And then we explore that on what particular problem statement you should go for SQL database, what use case is good for NoSQL. So first year is breadth, second is depth, and third is AI. So from third year, we focus on AI because now we also want to make sure they are not just equipped enough to build softwares, they also can probably think of using some data and build models on top of it. So first 2 years is development, last 2 years is AI, along
I
with
was about
internships.
to ask two questions, but I think you already addressed it, and that was that I have been, because I think when I also engineering pass, and I think Prachi can also relate. To, a lot of times we came to hear that syllabus of engineering is kind of outdated. People are still learning C language, and like there are modern languages like Python and those kind of. So and you have to go there, but a lot of students does not uh, go there, and when they get into market they see, oh, what I learned versus what happening in market is completely different shift. So I think you
That is
address
true.
that one point, and like you through coding Gita you're addressing that one thing, that you're teaching the modern tech stack. And secondly, a lot of employers these days prefer anyone, even they are fresher, they ask that, do you have experience? Irrespective, even they are a fresher. So I think that is also another tick mark that you guys are trying to do. So that is a really nice thing. And one thing I wanted to ask here is that on your website we see that there is a breakdown of programs. There is a side by side comparison of normal curriculum and your curriculum. So just trying to understand from student psychology, that doesn't this get too much for them, or like how the program works actually? Is it like how much hours you have to spend on a daily basis or weekly, monthly basis? So that I'm just trying, because there might be intense time like submissions, there might be intense time like
Yes.
examination. So how do
So
coding it handle these phases? How you can cope up with the study? So this is what I wanted to learn about this.
I started this similar program in 2022. So when we had first batch, we had 34 students. So I had full freedom to experiment there. So I could only experiment for first year, because from second year we were scaling. So we had to go from 34 to 300, 400. So first year that was the experimental time, and after few experimentation, the in current zone, in terms of hours, students have to devote 35 hours per week, and we operate 6 days a week. And we realized that if we make students work from 9 to 6 without some entertainment, it's much more difficult. So we treat this entire semester as a game. So let's take an example. If right now IPL is in trend, majority of the students are interested in IPL. I am not going to go there. Assume we are in second semester. React is coming. React is going on. We are learning React and MongoDB. I am not going to go there and tell them build XYZ e-commerce. I'm going to tell them here is the APIs list of APIs available for all the IPL matches. We have 5, 6 free API. Few of them are paid. You figure out what data is available there. Now think of what solutions or what applications you can build on top of it, and
Nice.
then let's see who can build up the best website, and that is that CA.
Right.
And they are given good timeline even in the exam
Mhm.
as well. Exam is also, for example, for React, my exam is not going to be taken on paper. In React exam they have to so I believe more in developers. I'm not training students, I'm training interns. So I'm behaving here as a software developer, how I'm going to treat my juniors. So they all are interns for me, and for them all the projects and all the submissions happens on GitHub. Many students, when they complete 4 years, they don't know how to merge pull requests. Many of them don't know how to work with multiple people on GitHub code base. We make sure they are able to work with GitHub from the first semester, and going forward each and every assignment, each and every submission is going happening through GitHub. Now three benefits here. If some student is contributing some code on second, I could see publicly that on second what line of code he wrote on which file. So this is complete transparency for us, and they are given enough time to complete things. So weekly 35 hours, everything is available on GitHub, and they get to build what they are interested in.
Yeah. So basically, you're not putting them burden onto that, but actually, it's more like you are helping them prepare for their exams only, because you're whatever you're teaching there kind of helps them. They don't need to study differently because everything is getting covered here. And
And
just to
yeah, and we focus more on practical learning rather than rote learning. I don't want them to remember what are React hooks. I want to make sure when it's time, they know what are all the hooks, where is the documentation of React hooks. But I also want to make sure that when we are learning React hooks, for each and every hook, they should have some implementation in the problem statement which they have.
Yeah.
So more of a practical learning.
And I was just wanted to ask a
Yeah.
following question on the thing you just mentioned about the curriculum and how you teach it. I wanted to ask that is it something specific? Because I think even if you do software engineering or a computer science, there is a multiple stream that goes out of it. So is this particular module that you have developed, is it just for the developers, or it can be taken by anyone? Like, for example, I want to be a big data scientist moving ahead. So, does this is only for full
Yeah,
stack
I
users who want
think
to? Yeah.
no, no. I'll talk about why full stack in first year.
Uh-huh.
So the reason we added full stack and AI because before putting any subject into curriculum, we did research that what are the jobs available in market,
Mhm.
what are the skills which are more likely to be there after 2 years or 3 years. So when we did this research, we realized more than 60-70% of the jobs available in all the platform where hiring is happening are of full stack development or of development. And second one, which is going in trend, is AI. So based on it, we realize okay, these two things we can put in our syllabus. On top of it, what if a student right now students are learning AI and later on they want to do their masters? If they have to do M.Tech, they'll need GATE. So we also made sure when we remove a subject, that subject should not affect the GATE syllabus. So in GATE, roughly 10 subjects are there. Each and every subject which is there on GATE, we kept in our syllabus. So we have room for 45 subjects in our syllabus. Out of this 45, still 20 to 24 are computer fundamental subjects. We just removed some of the subjects which are not at all helping. We removed physics, chemistry, mechanical drawing, civil fundamentals of electrical, civil. Later on, 3G technology, I think mobile networking. So the subjects which are outdated, we removed it, and we just added the specialization which are available or in trend in market.
That is clearly visible because I was just seeing that you have added some Figma essentials, and then you have
Yes.
added many other things which is not being covered in the engineering, like in the normal course. So that is really commendable. But may I know, like, you are providing this course only offline, right? Like in campus.
So right now we are only provide B.Tech since it's a B.Tech degree. We cannot go for distance learning. So
Right.
that is the reason. Yeah.
And you have started this thing in COVID time. So can I know like why this idea? Like in COVID time, have you struggled a little bit on starting this thing?
I think when we started off this in the first year, we got really good response. 34 students we had, and the challenge was so. Right now, I am saying in Coding Gita that first 2 years you learn from fifth semester you get internship. At that time, the goal was first two semester you learn, from the third semester you get internships. So the first year was much more tougher because we have to train them and then get them placed. But the advantage I had at that time was I'm in LPU, and in LPU I have superpowers. So yeah,
Okay.
that is because I'm already familiar with the area, already know a lot of people there, studied 4 years. So I was able to connect more with all the students. I used to understand their problem because whatever problems they were going through, I had already been there in last 4 years. So I was able
And
to guide them much better.
and your location for this physical institute is within LPU or it's nearby
No,
it,
no.
or it's
Right. Now it's in Gujarat. So right now I'm starting in Gujarat, and it's basically a city called Surendranagar, and the second campus I'm having is in Ahmedabad. So
Where?
in Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Ahmedabad. Okay.
and you like is all the modules, all the session is live, or is it recorded up? Is it partly recorded, partly
Both,
live?
both. So what we do is already we have recorded. So every time we do a live session, we record it and we just put it in a drive. So next time, if why I do this is so by default all the sessions are delivered live. But the recording is there because I also observed that many students are there who have better pace than others. So
Yeah.
they can learn things faster. So for them, previous year content is there. Go through it, and then when live sessions is going on, you can ask her questions. So I work in both model, live and recorded. But
Neel,
I think live is where more learning happened.
okay, doesn't like students, because I have did engineering and learning from live classes, like recorded live classes, that's for me it sounds challenging. So don't you think like your students are raising this point?
No, no, that's why we do live sessions. So
Live
recorded is
sessions as
basically uh, there are always 2 3 students who want to learn some topic before others. So this is basically a way of increasing the competitiveness. So this is actually happening. So what happens is, the let's say the class of 40 students is there. There will be a group of students who want to be ahead of others, and that is where I probably want that to happen, because if my syllabus has to take 14 weeks and these students are completing things in 10 weeks, because they also have live sessions where we are covering things offline, and they could also visit the previous year sessions or sessions taken previously, they would always want to be ahead of others. And because of this, every time, even if the semester is a 14 week, they'll finish things earlier. And once they finish things earlier, I will have more things to build for them. So at the end, outcome is higher than just normal scenario. So this was I also had the similar concern that what will happen. But after completing a semester, I realized this is the best.
this is what.
You just make sure. I realized that the entire 4 year degree, as competitive as it can be, if I try to make it competitive, I don't have to worry much about the growth of the students. The similar scenario is, I try to every week we try to make sure we try to talk more about the smaller wins of students. We try to make sure we encourage everyone for all the small wins they do, and this basically helps everyone to try to give their best.
Yeah. You are a solo founder, or you have another co-founder, or how your journey as a founder has been in this phase? Because I think we discussed about Coding Gita, somewhat about your personal life, but then you are an engineer, and that is also computer science. We know that engineers are good, by the way, but I'm just asking in general sense that how is your founder journey has been? Like there might be a lot of learning and then challenges, and how you are overcoming it.
So I would not say solo founder, but I started this with my fiance. So we both started this, and the main aim was to make sure, with my past experience, I realized initially I can make sure that I can run this on my own. And I also had one more thought, that initially in edtech, it's better if we do go to the self-funded way. So I wanted to make sure whatever I earned in initial time, I saved all of it, everything was invested. So I didn't need to raise external funding. And the specific reason of doing this, because in previous startups, I had seen from 0 to 1, we have to focus more on learning, but from 1 to 10 we immediately has to go. In case of self-funded, I don't have hurry to grow faster in next year, and that is where I can probably safeguard my and students interest. So that is where I realized that, okay, let's be self-funded initially and then run on top of profits.
Right. And now, like slightly related question to this, then all the students discover you themselves, or because I think your founder has a lot of hats to wear, like a marketing hat, like a product development, like manager hat, and also the managing everything, a part of that finances and everything. So like talking about marketing, because I think that is the key area to discover students. They get to know you, and then what is the thing that you personally do, or as a strategy you do, so that people get to know about you? Like, is there something specific you go to colleges and then maybe give some lectures, or that kind of stuff? What is the key strategy you have that?
So the key strategies, my target audience is people who are really into computer engineering, or who are really good with maths. So two key metrics is really good with maths or really interested in computer engineering. So right now I'm working in a, my current focus is to get as many Gujarat students as possible into the course. So current marketing strategy where I focus more on schools where maths institutions are happening or tuition classes, schools, and the third place is where computer classes are there. So from there, I try to reach out to
Collaborations.
students. Yes,
Mhm.
and
So it's
then
all
once the
offline marketing.
students, yeah, you can say offline because I just try to introduce students to Coding Gita, and then I made website and entire listing in a way that if someone is going through the website for 5 to 10 minutes, and if they had interest in computer engineering, most likely they are going to give it a shot because in first year in Gujarat this is the first year, so people are not everyone is going to have their doubts. Just to clear the doubts, I also made sure that placement guarantee is there because even I asked myself, I went from Gujarat to Punjab just to make sure I'm getting a really good job and syllabus was good. So I asked myself, if I see this, would I enroll in this program? The answer was no, because I don't know what will happen
Yeah.
if this things don't work out. So to get that trust for first 2 years, I realized let's give them placement guarantee and not just so majority of the placement guarantee you see will always be with some XYZ conditions. I realized it's not going to work out. That's completely say in single line. If after a few 4 years you don't get the output, it's my bad. Yeah.
And I really like the fact that you guys have, you're not asking
Okay.
them
Is
to pay
it?
everything upfront at once.
Yeah. No. 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 Pay
And
every semester, and I also wanted to make it transparent. Like, let's say in first semester you joined us, but you realize that you are not really interested in coding. This will happen. That in first semester, because of the outcomes, you might join, and then you realize you are not interested in this. So I also kept every door open, even
mm,
whether it's first semester, second, fourth. Anytime you want to leave, you are free to leave from the same semester. So basically, if you want to move back from coding Gita program to normal program, you are really no one is going to question you. From the next semester, you can move.
wow.
Seeing the education industry problems what going on, I want to know like how you are making the profit. मार्केटिंग में कुछ ज्यादा कॉस्ट इंडल्ज हो जा रहा है या मतलब यू आर एबल टू मैनेज इट एंड यू आर
My
एबल या
my marketing cost is close to so if I have to talk about customer acquisition cost, that is less than 1% of the fees they are paying.
Wow.
ओके दैट्स
So
because most of the edtech industry is facing the challenge with this only that their CAC is not proper.
yes,
And
And he also is self-funded. I think there is another reason he wants to be a self-funded, I guess, because he don't want the investment pressure. And because a lot of these startups these days has this pressure and they have to ramp up the sales so that they spend marketing and
exactly.
then so this is a good idea that like I really like it that being
but are
slow.
you looking for investors?
No, definitely not. Most likely not even after 5 years, 10 years.
Okay.
So
So
the reason was
yeah.
I talked to a lot of founders who are really successful, and I took you can take big names in the market. I also work with more than if I have to calculate 11 startups. You can probably you will probably know all the names. When I work with them, I whenever I get a chance, I also got a chance to talk with 4 to 5 founders, and I asked how they deal with everything, and major concern they had is if this is common at tech thing, which I everyone hates it. That let's take an example. First year we are doing revenue of 100 CR. Next year investor will want you to double it 200 300. But the problem is if you have one really good faculty who can focus on 40 students, it's really difficult to get two faculty who can focus on 480 students, or you cannot get expect the same output from one faculty which you had expected in 40 or 80 students, and that is where this issue happens in attack. Plus on top of it, the false marketing or false promise, that is a bigger issue.
Yeah. No, I think you have really played it brilliantly. What I mean to say by that is that you already have. So what I mean is that you already analysis what is the problems where I don't have to go. So yeah, I think this is really nice. And as a founder, I think this is very key quality of like building a successful startup. So coming back to which, imagine I'm a second year B.Tech student, computer science, and if I discovered your website somehow, or maybe my friend recommended it or somehow. So what is the next process in this complete journey of getting myself placed, or maybe being in a position where I have sound knowledge, confidence, and like ready to go in the market, basically.
So we take admissions of students who have completed their 12th. So we can only take admissions from the first year. But let's say even if a student who is currently in engineering, I am a big believer of open source, and majority of the learning material, or majority of the learning which is not our in-house section recordings, everything is available on GitHub. So I make sure on Coding Gita organization on GitHub, we keep all the projects open, we keep all the content or all the roadmap open. If anyone has interest in that, they can go through that roadmap, and they will get enough resources to complete their journey. And we also do boot camps on site, but right now for first 2 years, we are going to not focus more on boot camps and focus more on the B.Tech part.
Yeah. So, what does journey look like? So, even if it's 12th candidate who is just passing the 12th, or someone who is joining in between. But let's take ideal scenario. So you basically get students on board.
Yeah, definitely.
12th, right? So, what is the process they have to do? Like, do they have to fill a form on your website, or they have to get in touch with you manually? And then how entire things moves ahead here?
So once students discover us, there is an application form, 4 or 5 information. All I need is how much you scored in 10th, how much you scored in 12th, did you give JW or not? If you give JW, just tell me the percentile. After this, if students have scored above 60 in 10th, above 60 in 12th, we onboard them for our online test. And this is where I try to understand more about students' interest, where they give our test. It's on maths and English. We try to know the existing communication skill and existing maths knowledge. Based on it, if they are able to clear the test, we conduct an interview. Now, in the interview, we try to understand, are they really interested in computer engineering, or they are just in it for outcomes? Even if they are in it for outcomes, uh, how much effort they are able to put in, and what are the signs for me in past where they have given some efforts. So all I'm trying to understand is what did they do in last 2 3 years, which can indicate me that they have higher chances of success in next 2 years. Because initially I want to be really sure that I attract the right students who can probably go through this journey. And that was the learning from for me in the first year. So where in first year I had 34 students, I was able to place 30 students right after the second semester. But whatever key reasons were there for remaining 4 students who were not able to place, they were majority not interested in computer engineering. One of them had distraction. Remaining 3 were really clear. We don't even want to do engineering. But because of the outcomes, either they initially got in because of outcome, or the parents put in. So I really want to make sure this doesn't happen here. So I try to eliminate this problem in the really start, even before starting the admissions.
So
And
is there any
once,
counseling process in this? Just which you have mentioned, is there any counseling process also?
yeah, yeah. And right after this interview, we basically create merit list of all the individuals. We right now have limited seats where right now we are going to take 80 students, 50 from Gujarat, 30 from outside Gujarat. Already, I think 30 seats for outside Gujarat is almost filled. I think 2 seats are remaining. Gujarat seats are completely empty. No, zero admissions in Gujarat so far. The reason is, I think Gujarat admissions are going to start in 4 5 days. So we are just letting everyone in Gujarat know, and we'll launch our list in Gujarat after 21st April. And once the admissions are done, they can decide if they want to join or not. And once they join in next 4 years, first 2 years is coding, last 4 years is AI and internships.
So what I wanted to ask is that there is this really interesting encounter with one of my friend. I used to work as a brand manager in an earlier company, and there we had a developer. He is from a very rural village from Rajasthan, and he was really aspiring to become a data scientist. So I asked him, okay, it's simple, go on Udemy or go on any Coursera or something, get a course and start. But I think someone like me who is from a town or city who might not understand issue, he simply said me that above there is all these courses are in English, and I really struggled with understanding English or maybe these kind of stuff. So I just wanted to understand that when you are, whether it's live session, whether it's recorded session, what you're doing, is it majorly in English? Is it like, do you also prefer to go English, or how does it, like, is it like students preferences?
Hmm. So initially in the first semester, we are flexible. In first semester, we don't expect students to be really good with English. But at the end of first semester, with completion of 5 months, we want to make sure they are really comfortable with English. So in first year, you might see some signs of Hindi, but right from third semester, there would not be any part of Hindi. In first semester, you could say majoritarily we start with Hindi until everyone is on the same page for English, and then we proceed. The main reason is in our in job market, once they go into companies, if they are really proficient with English and they are really comfortable and fluent, it is going to take them really ahead compared to others. And I believe more than verbal English, I want them to learn and learn this really fast. Written English is going to help them much ahead than verbal English, because they'll have to communicate a lot with team members on chat. And if they can do this faster, then it will probably help.
If this is the scenario, I believe you might be only focusing on CBSE or ICSE student and not the Gujarat
No, no,
board.
no, definitely not. Definitely. I'm from Gujarat board. I learned physics and maths in Gujarati. So that's not definitely not the case.
So
And
it's open for
the
all.
current, yeah, and I think currently majority of the students we have admitted, majority of them are from Hindi medium or state boards.
Oh, okay. So this is a
Yeah.
plus point for Coding Gita, I believe, because for the other institute, sometimes they have a restriction that if it is a Hindi board, so they will be not taking admission. So that is a good way what you are adding.
The reason was 4 years are enough for them. 6 months we
No.
can probably train them in English. Yeah, so that was
Exactly, I was coming to the same point, that moving further, can we see something like this where you're also teaching them English or enrolling that particular module, so that they are, while they're becoming proficient with the development and this part, they can also be good in the, because why I'm saying this, because rural area is a big market for this kind of stuff, where they don't have mentorship, they don't have support someone, because someone like me who is in the city, I have a lot of options, but someone who is in the rural area, they don't really have such options. But can we see something moving ahead like this, where you can also incorporate English or something, where they can be very, everything, whatever they need is addressed basically?
Most likely, I think this year, when in the first semester, we are talking but not sure. We want to make sure that communication part which we are doing, communication and critical thinking, that's what we are calling. We want to make that module public. So if that goes really well, it's likely that we'll launch that in our YouTube channel. But yeah, that is that.
Okay, so the communication skill, what we see in your website, that is something which you have newly added for this year. It was not previously when you have launched this program.
No, no, it was there from first year. It was there from first year, but first year there were two different subjects: communication for professionals and critical thinking. I realized there was no need for keeping them separate, so now we have added them and merged them into one.
Yeah, and so okay, so now the candidate has enrolled with you. They have taken this 4 years of program. They are now into the second year of your program and into the college as well. So how does Coding Gita make sure that they are getting a job or placement or internship? Is there any criteria to place them? I think you already partially answered it, but just trying to understand that,
Yes.
So I
No criteria. I think no criteria. Everyone is eligible to sit in placement. Whoever is admitted. The reason is we are in the first 2 years, they are learning roughly 22 subjects. Now the companies who are coming to hire, they don't need a person who knows React. They don't need someone who knows React, AWS, Node.js, Express, everything. They don't need every skill. We are already we know that some students will be there who are really going to be really good with UI. Some students will be there who will be really good with front end, back end. We made sure everything is company looking for is available in syllabus. I also have an aptitude in fourth semester because companies are coming in that semester. So they are also being trained on aptitude. They also know Java in fourth semester. There is not a single thing from the company side. So when a company is looking for a graduate, they look for four things. First one is is the problem solving good? In first four semester, minimum students are going to do 650 questions of lead code in class. So that is coding part. Second part is can they communicate? From the first semester, we are making sure of that. Third thing is do they have projects? In the fourth semester, at least they are going to have a product or projects which is having few live users, even if that is in 10 to hundreds. Their entire GitHub profile is going to be getting contributed from last 18 months. So that is third thing. Fourth thing is in online rounds, they do ask from basics of computer fundamentals or they ask from aptitude. Aptitude you are covering in fourth semester. Basics of computer fundamentals, that is also being covered inside. So whatever is company looking for, we did all the check marks. Now students have to focus. Startups are not going to ask aptitude. Companies which have a few founders and they are looking for developers, they are not going to ask DSA. So now it's into students and which companies they want to go in, and then accordingly prepare. And we bring three kind of companies into internships. We will not be able to get MNCs, but let's take an example. A Coding Gita, if I want to hire, initially, if we are a team of 10 developers, if I want to give internship of 6 months to 12 months, it's difficult for me to go to a bigger universities compared to go to something like Coding Gita. For small scale companies, Coding Gita is the best option because they are getting interns for 12 months who are really trained in all these skills and they have already proven them. And we also give companies option. For example, if you are a company who is looking to hire our candidates, you can come in fourth semester and you can give a problem statement. And that problem statement can be one project for our students. You judge them based on the project what they did in that semester. They get the grades and you get your confirmation. So that is how we are placing all the students from the fifth semester. And every company partner which we have, they will have access to all the student profile from second semester. So they can actually see all the student performance from second, third, fourth semester. So if I can place students in third semester, fifth semester is like cakewalk for me.
Absolutely. I do see you already have few students who has been placed for 24 LP, and that is not a small thing. That is a big thing. Even these big companies, highlight it and they say that we have placed for some like 48 lakh, 50 lakh, 20 lakh, 24 lakh, and I think startup you are just into I think very early stage of your inception, and still you are able to place them. So that is a big kudos to you and your entire team for that. So how does that happen? Is it also depend on student? Is it also is it also depend on company, or is it something that naturally is it a combination of your interest, or how I'm asking in terms of general sense? So for example, if a student is watching this podcast, so what they should be care of so that they can have that kind of placement?
So the same thing I said a minute ago. First is for bigger placement. You cannot be like I also want to go for startup. I also want to go for top product based companies, because every company has different styles of hiring, and every company is looking for different thing. Startup is looking for core development skills. Product based company is going to look for really good fundamentals, really good problem solving skills. So we try to ask students, the main focus initially should be on communication, English. Once that is there, second focus, my preferable is development, and then focus again on DSA, because really small companies are only looking for DSA. Majority of the companies are looking for both development and DSA. And when I say development, it's not mean you just do full stack or front end. Development covers four aspects: front end development, back end, full stack, and mobile development, Android or iOS. Everything has equal opportunities. Market may vary, but you have to finalize one. And the second one is only focusing on DSA. Only one of them is riskier. In either case, you go. If you balance both, then your chances are increased. And
Yeah.
then you also have to be really presentable across all the platforms.
Yeah, Neil made it like I don't know
So
whether it is a silly question or not, but as I am not from this background, I would like to you to help me out with the difference between this four stack developers which you have mentioned just now, and along with that also the salary package. What is the salary package for all these developers? Is full stack is getting more, backend is getting less? How
perfect.
exactly we can differentiate?
So I could say initially when I say front end developers are more likely to build the website which you see on web. So the UI which you see on the user end, that is the front end. Now it's only covering the website part. If a candidate only knows the code part, which is not the design, so design is Figma, UI UX. If
Yeah.
someone knows UI UX and they are also good with development of front end, in startups they can start getting from 25,000 up to 1 lakh 2 lakh in initially. It totally depends on how much they know, but majority of the startups will be really happy to pay them 25 to 30,000 initially during the internship.
Yeah.
And if they are really I'm talking about monthly stipends. This is what majority getting. On upper side, you can expect 12, 13, 14, 15. So that is where majority of the outcomes are at. For me, I would not say one student who got 50 LPA. I would talk about 10 students who might have received the amount. So more likely, you are on the upper side. 12 to 15 is the number you can look. Now, if you are someone who can backend is basically on front end you can see the UI, but data is coming from somewhere else. Backend is where entire data management is happening. More amount of money initially is there in backend. If you are in backend, you can expect up to 20. Initial starting range is same. Majority of the company will give same amount to interns. Initially is 20, 25, 30 thousand per month, and then it can go up to 20 LPA. In even in startups, even in bigger companies. So companies like Swiggy, Zomato, they do pay backend engineers much more. If I have to talk about few of my friends, they are into 30 to 35 LPA in the first year of completion after graduation. So that amount is there, and backend has little higher number of jobs. Full stack developer is someone who is good with this can be multiple cases. Either you are really good with front end and you know somewhat of backend, or you're really good with backend and you can also work with front end. So most likely really good in one and you know basics of second. Full stack engineer, if you are there, you can easily demand 30, 40,000, and you can now this is where you can probably expect more salaries compared to front end or backend. And here you can expect 25 range of 25, but there are really few companies who will give a fresher 20 plus LPA, because freshers you can get someone who is working in a company to switch and then join you at 20 plus LPA. So companies will not give lot of fresher 20 plus LPA. So that is that. So mostly fresher should expect 10, 15, that number. Above that is really less people will get that, and until you are in IIT, NIT, it's little difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
This
the
was this
overall.
was the information I was looking for.
And so I think we have been talking more about recently, either, it's about computer science, it's about IT, but so someone from me, like a civil engineering background, or I think there are people who are in ENTC who also have some part of coding into their curriculum. So how beneficial this program can be? Can they enroll into this program? Like, do they require core development learning that is being taught in the course through the B.Tech, or they can just follow your module and still can be a good developer and coder?
If you are someone who has no idea about development at all, and even if you explore this module, if you have a friend who is in computer science, and if someone can guide you, with this module you can initiate your career. But if the expectation is I can start with this program and after a year I can maybe have 10 plus LPA, I would say it's not likely, because with this, or most likely with any other program, if someone from non-technical background is there, the first job I would say will probably be in 50,000 to 25,000. This is majority of the scenario, because first job it will be difficult. You will get first job when someone else is ready to take a chance on you, and most likely that you will not see really high number. But I also have few exceptions, but they are really less in number.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. And I think we are at the end of this particular podcast. And at the end of this podcast, we do this rapid fire round where we ask you one few words, and you just have to quickly tell us what comes to your mind without thinking about it. So maybe I will let Prachi start with this.
Okay, so let me start with the rapid fire round.
Yeah.
I will just tell you certain words, one word, and you have to give me the answer in one word only. So starting with the first word, Coding Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. Entrepreneurship.
Difficult.
Difficult. Okay. Yeah, it's actually difficult. So next, I'm throwing this word. I don't know why, but yeah, LPU, because you have started your first startup from there only. So LPU. What LPU stands for?
I want to go back there.
Don't want to go back.
Nostalgia, you can say.
Okay, you want to go back there or not?
No, I would want to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, everybody wants to go back to their college, I
I
guess.
would definitely want to be there.
Hmm. I have heard so many stories about LPU that after being graduate from LPU, like people are in another space. So I think so. You are also in that space right now. Okay. Next, profit.
Definitely, definitely. Hi,
Okay. Income.
as high as possible.
Okay. Vaibhav, if you want to ask, if you want to add
Yeah.
any other word.
So another word for you, success.
Lifestyle,
Growth.
reality,
Mindset.
work hard,
Your students.
mentees.
Great. I think that's what we had in this, rapid fire round. And I'm sure that a lot of people might have learned a lot of things. I think you're on a very right path, and that there is various reason for saying that, whether it's about educating students about this particular, making them aware about the program, making them confident about their skills, making them ready for the market. You're spot on there. Whether you have to take the funding, whether you not have to, as a founder you are spot on. You have already identified what things you don't have to do and what things you have to do. uh, Going bootstrap, so a lot of things that you're doing is really kind of thing that I would have done if I would have in your shoes. So I'm really happy to see that what you're doing is it's startly getting a good momentum and then it's growing. It was great hosting you, Neel. If you have any final words, you can say. I would also like to know that we can, if there's any link or something where whoever is watching this podcast can want to get in touch with you, how they can if there is a LinkedIn your first priority to get in touch. Is there any email ID? How they
I
can?
think they can just Google Coding Gita. They'll get all the contact details there. On Coding Gita website, they can reach out to direct us. And LinkedIn is again one more platform. I made sure that all my socials are available there. So even if you search Patel in Mahesh, you'll get all the details.
Cool. Any final words, Prachi or Neel, you would like to add here?
No, I would definitely like to be connected with you and see how Coding Gita is performing in next 1 year. And definitely, like as you guarantee for the job, the confidence what you have shown in the website, I would like to see that how it's evolving over the time, because that is something which is a very difficult part. What generally people find, it's been there in the website, but whether actually the institutes are able to like be on that shoe
Deliver.
sort of. So that's the reason like I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I have got a really good insights from you, being not from the software background, or let's say computer science background. I have literally understood today what is front end developer, back end developer, and how exactly the salary ranges happens. So this was quite insightful for me. And yeah, let's see like when we can have the another episode of podcast with you, and then know more about this particular genre which we are not aware of.
Definitely, I would once the things initiate. Well, next time I would probably want few of the students also to.
Absolutely.
Once I think what I do is one thing I always work by is whether it's a job, whether it was my internship, whether I was in class. I always try to commit less and deliver more, and that is my mantra throughout. And that I'm also reflecting in coding with us thing. This always make everyone happy in the entire system, and that is again I live by that.
Okay, to validate that, I was just going through your recommendation over LinkedIn for LinkedIn
Yeah,
URL.
it's
So when I go through the recommendation, I really found that thing. So I'm validating that thing that you are telling this thing in a very right way, because when I was reading the recommendation, one or two recommendation you can ask the people to just randomly flaunt, but when you get 27 to 28 recommendation, and all being from the same point of view, so it really matters. So yeah, I can truly understand that how you might be delivering, and that is why I wanted to.
It would have been 13, but
Yeah,
yeah, it would have been 13, but my other two students are too lazy to write it.
you have to talk to that two students, and you can invite them to our another podcast so that we will be asking them why you have not given recommendation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
all right. Thank you, Neil. Thank you so much for your time. It was great talking to you today. We are eagerly looking forward to your progress and growth in the future. And absolutely, there is no doubt now. Whenever we need any front end, back end developer, it's gonna be you or your organization is gonna be the first we will going to be contacting. That hey, I need developer. Do you have any students or interns where we can get them? And guys, if you are any company owner, business owner, you want to hire interns for your company. Now you know that how Neil is preparing them for this entire journey. So you know they are confident, they have skills. So you can simply get in touch with this Coding Gita, and you can hire interns for your company as well. Thank you so much, Neil. Thanks for joining us. See you. Bye bye in next podcast. I hope, guys, you found this podcast helpful. So please like this podcast, share this with your friends who are into computer science. Tell them that if you are joining the course, get Coding Gita alongside with you, and you will be propelling in your career. So comment down below if you find anything insightful in this podcast, and feel free to approach and reach out to Neil for any of mentorship and guidance you need. Thank you so much for watching. See you. Bye bye. Next
Thank
podcast.
you. Bye. See you.
Thank you.